because we're going to teach everyone how literally anyone in real estate can do multiple six figures doing wholesaling. Okay. And how you did it, um, how you ultimately achieved it, and how you're going to get to the seven figures. Okay. So let me just make sure that we're live in here. Seems like we are, but I just want to make sure real quick here. All right. Sharing it in a few groups in here, in our groups. Okay. Boom. Boom. Awesome. All right. So we're live in that Facebook group. We're gonna go over. I love to learn from you. I love to for us to teach us a little bit, right? A good few things and so on. All right, man. Let's start this podcast. Um,
Mic check.
I'm good.
Mic check. Mic check.
You can read about success all day long, but if you don't put in the work, the mindset, execution, and the hustle behind your vision, it just remains a dream.
When everything goes wrong, you have to take all the responsibility.
We uncover what high-level entrepreneurs, business owners do to rise up from hustling daily.
So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
The world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Join me as I share with you actionable tips to help you grow your business, learn skills, and help you level up in your self-development journey.
Your number one spot for business and personal growth is the Online Hustlers Podcast with your host, Esteban Andrade.
What is going on, everyone that is watching this new episode of the REIpreneurs podcast? So, if you feel you are a great entrepreneur, you're getting into entrepreneurship, or you have scaled already a business and you're an entrepreneur, then you are an REIpreneur. You own houses, or you're doing wholesaling, you're doing flipping, you do it in creative financing, even you do Airbnb or land or mobile. You are an REIpreneur. And in this episode, we're going to go over a story of someone that works with us currently at one of our companies at Hustle Media, and we're going to go over how he actually grew from going to just serving, just doing bartender, and actually growing a multi six-figure company in here in the United States. And obviously, he went through a lot of the different steps that an entrepreneur needs to go, working on his mindset. And like COVID hit him hard, which, you know, a lot of people for COVID was a blessing for a lot of us, right? For me, it helped me kind of start my business. For him, it was a very similar story. So we're going to go over and meet Jason. And Jason is a current client of ours. He uses meta advertising to generate leads and other methods. I've actually met him. I've seen him in a few coaching programs, masterminds. We've had a conversation in the past. He currently has been with us for several months now, and he has a great relationship with our team at Hustle Media. I'm going to bring him in here on stage. All right. What's going on, brother? How's everything going?
Good, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
I love the hat, man. You're doing the free sponsoring to acquisition.com.
Shout out my guy, Alex.
Your guy, Alex, right? I actually went to their office a few weeks ago, and I have two more pending calls with them on quarter one or quarter two. Quarter one, actually. Yeah, because, you know, they're always, I don't know if you know, but they have workshops, and you should attend at some point. But these workshops literally help you kind of dissect your constraints as a business, and you do it with their team and everything. And then they make you go through the workshop, and then at the end, they kind of like sell you something at the end, which allows you to be in the pool of potential companies that they would invest on. So it's very interesting, man. But let's talk about you. I'd love to talk more about who Jason Cordova is. You've been with us for a couple months now. You've been generating leads, remotely across different counties around the United States. I want to get a little bit more of the details. So before you build a multiple six-figure business, what is it that was your life like? Like before you got into entrepreneurship and you became an entrepreneur, and then now you have a team, and now you have, you know, an income that more than 95% of people in the United States would never have. So let's talk about that. You're also very young too. How old are you?
I'm 25.
There you go. You're 25 too, and you started this a few years ago. So I want to know, what was that life like before?
Yeah. So before everything, I went to college, went to the University of Connecticut. I was majoring in actuarial science, which nobody ever knows what that is, but basically it's just like statistics, applied mathematics, and finance all in like one. Specifically for insurance purposes, it's like insurance. I did an internship at MetLife, which is like a Fortune 50 company, right?
Hmm.
So I was already on track to, to making it, to doing exactly what, you know, I wanted to do, right? I went for actuarial science. I got an internship at a super prestigious internship at a Fortune 50. I was doing the work. And it was in office and you know I just realized I did 2 years of that and realized like that 9 to 5, that typical 9 to 5 in a cubicle, like this just wasn't for me. um, at the same time I was a bartender. That's how I paid for college, and everything like that. So I'd work on the week. I'd go to college. I'd go to college throughout the week, and then the weekends I would commute back to my hometown, work, and then just go back and forth. Um, and and I realized that like I needed to do something different, where like I had more control of my life, my income, and everything like that. And the I feel like anytime somebody has that type of ambition, I feel like one of the first things that come to mind is real estate, right? The passive income, XYZ. So my my goal then became to be a landlord. Have that passive income. Um, so then I kind of set my sights on real estate and then kind of made a transition like that. But just not to get too deep into that, that's basically what my background was before I actually got into real estate.
Okay, nice, man. I mean, you started somewhere. Obviously, there was a the need of achieving more, but you actually getting into actual business, because one thing is like wanting to become an entrepreneur and doing things outside of the normal thing, day to day work, and working for another company, and doing entrepreneurship. But the another thing is actually building a business, right? Actually having employees and actually having to take care of other people's family, and then controlling your client, fulfilling clients, and then just having a repeatable thing that actually exists there for. It's not like you're actually just creating another side hustle and then you're actually running your job. You're actually doing this full time, right? So you had to make it a business. So when you came with to us, how was your company structured? Like what is that you were doing before you came to us? Like what were the things that you realized that you were doing right, and what was the thing that you were kind of lacking at that time?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So to jump a little bit ahead, before I joined you guys, I think I just gone full time into wholesaling. So there's a bit of a jump between, when I decided to start. And but I was doing primarily inbound. I was doing all inbound. I shut down cold calling, so I was just doing text marketing. So I had a VA marketing manager texter, um, who did that. We were sending. I can't really remember how much we were doing per day, but then I had a lead manager, and then I was the acquisition manager. So I would have the lead manager. Leads would come in. The lead manager would qualify the leads, set up appointments for offer calls, and then I would lock it up. And I was doing the rest of the process, the dispo, the transaction coordinating, all that stuff. So that's what it looked like before.
Okay. And were you part of at that time when you were, getting full time? Were you part of any program that kind of helped you, or you would kind of learn everything yourself?
At the so I've done a bunch of courses and stuff like that. I would say a huge one is Chandler Sain's Level Up. That was huge as a part of that one. But yeah, I mean, I did everything under the sun, man. Read all the
Okay.
books, did all the courses.
So, you know, now that you're making multiple six figures, right? Like you've been running different marketing channels. You have a few employees as well. You have been wholesaling and also doing innovations and so on. If you were to tell us what you could have done wrong from the very big, what you could have done right and what you did wrong from the very beginning, right? That you were to put together like a very simple way of understanding your business, right? How can someone how can someone go from doing part-time wholesaling that you were doing before to to building an actual business, making multiple six figures? What are the few steps that you realized that are the ones that anyone needs to make?
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, I feel like we all know this at this point. Just having processes in place.
Hmm.
You once you start bringing on other people, new people, they need to know what to do when. You know, so having documented processes, scripts, procedures, everything laid out for them, videos, in order so that you can duplicate yourself. I think that's well, before that, obviously you have to do the business and kind of see exactly, what your process looks like. So I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. Another thing would be tracking, because obviously, in order to take it from just a side hustle where you're just grinding out, kind of unpredictable, you need to be able to forecast what you're going to produce. And that's like two parts. There's the tracking itself. So creating a system around, being able to keep track of like what's going on numbers wise, and then projecting that out, and taking those numbers and then creating a roadmap from it.
Okay. So, what are the few systems that you actually had to put together, or processes, documentation of stuff that you had to put together in the beginning so that you actually can, you know, duplicate everything that you got in your business? And what are those things that you currently track right now that kind of gives you a breeze that everything is going to be predictable and repeatable?
Yeah. So for processes, I mean, I have from day one. I have when I'm bringing somebody on, I have day one. What does day one look like? What does day two look like in terms of training? I have training modules that they go through on their onboarding that covers script, that covers CRM, that covers real estate specific knowledge, that covers you know what to do when in general. So every piece of their role gets broken down into a module, and then on top of that we do daily training. So they have to go through all of those modules in order to be onboarded, so that they know exactly what they're doing. And like if you ever onboard anyone without having you know documented training or procedures in place, I mean I've done it before too. I've hired somebody without all that stuff in place. They're hitting you up every 20 minutes with questions on like what to do, and it just disrupts your flow. So that's that. And then as far as the metrics that we track, um, since we use Hustle Media for marketing, we used to have KPIs specifically for marketing, text text per lead, response rate, all that stuff. But since moving to inbound with Hessel, we kind of rely on you guys for that. So at this point, it's just leads to net leads. Net leads we define as somebody who picks up the phone, who has a property, and as is somewhat interested in selling, regardless of motivation, or somebody who picks up the phone and is the correct person, right? Because sometimes people won't pick up the phone, or. So we want to track raw lead to net lead to appointment. Appointment being like an offer call appointment. It's a qualified lead. We take them through the discovery call, make sure that they're a good fit. So from there to offer call, to contracts, to offers made and then contracts. But there's not much drop off from an appointment being set to an offer being made. There's some, but not much. And then from offer being made, how many offers does it take to get a contract, and contracts to closings. So
Yeah,
that's how we map it out.
got it. Now, where is it that you're located? What's your market that you do?
I'm located in Connecticut, and
Okay.
my market is North Carolina.
Okay. What did you decide to go remote off Connecticut and pick these markets, North Carolina, South?
Yeah. So the reason I wanted to go remote was I didn't want to, become my own bottleneck physically. Where I'm like running to properties to, like, if I was to do my local market, where I would have to like, or I'd be more inclined to run to properties to take pictures, do walkthroughs with buyers and stuff like that, to completely remove myself from the business, to basically make it a self-sustaining business, like truly. And I thought like the best way to do that is to physically and geographically remove yourself. So that was the thought process behind that. Why South Carolina? Initially, I was starting with a partner, where the arrangement was that I would handle all the marketing. So I did all the data, all the data management, the systems, the telemarketing systems, all that. And they would do acquisitions, and they basically chose those markets because they had buyers in those markets. So I wasn't really concerned with the dispo or the acquisition. But so I pulled all the data. I did all the cleaning, all the scrubbing. I set up all the systems, and then we kind of just they went on a different path. So then at that point, I already had all the data. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So you stay there. If someone is like, let's say let's say in a market like yours, Connecticut, or somewhere out there in the northern east side, would you recommend them to go remote, and would you recommend them to actually look for another market outside of it, or what are your thoughts on that?
So, I mean, I don't believe in limiting, anyone to any particular thought. I think both ways work. I just at the beginning, I just thought that it would be easier for me to remove myself from the business if it was virtual.
Hmm.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being in your local market. Honestly, I think there's definitely some pros to it. I think I for me at the time, I thought it was best to go virtual. I guess it kind of depends on a few things for you. But I've never done local, so I couldn't speak to that, to be honest.
Yeah, no problem. But you do, I do see you kind of nurturing your knowledge and getting into different programs, and always kind of learning. I know that recently you were in a program that also taught you how to do innovations, right? And it seems to me that a lot of wholesalers are quickly realizing that that is kind of needed for how the market goes. There's different ways to skin the cat at the end of the day, and generate money or monetize your leads. But I mean, what are the few things that you would suggest to someone that is kind of stuck in like only doing one deal a month, two deals a month, and want to get over the hump that they need to do? Like maybe they need to evaluate right now. Like, what are the few things that you did?
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I would say before you really like learn another strategy and try to implement another strategy, because that's a dangerous game in itself.
Mhm.
Shiny object syndrome. I think you really audit your own conversions and your metrics,
Mm.
um, and you learn what industry standards are, or you record you track your own metrics, your conversions, and see where is there a drop off. Is there, let's say industry standard is raw lead to net lead is 70%, and your numbers, and if you track your numbers and you see you're at 30%, then obviously there's an issue with your phone systems. You're either not calling enough, um, your numbers are marked as spam, or whatever it is. So then you work to get those numbers up, because once you once you track those metrics and then you get them up, then it all falls, it all trickles down. You get your net lead conversions up, then that'll what will follow is your appointments set will increase, and I think you would just audit your internal systems first, see if there's any drop off there where you could do something better, and it might be an internal sales process, and honestly, that's probably what it is. You know.
All right. So so tell me a little bit more about how you have your business structured. So let's start with marketing. What type of marketing do you do right now?
Right now, I'm entirely inbound meta.
So meta ads. Okay. What is marketing going to look for you in terms of channel or ad spend in the next few months? What do you feel what do you think it's going to be looking like?
Mhm. So after doing my projections of where I want to be, which is 10 closed deals per month,
Mhm.
that'll cost me between 12 and 14,000 a month in ad spend after doing my projections.
Okay. So you'll need to be putting in that amount of money because did you realize like where does the projections come from? Like if someone was listening to this call, be like, huh, how did he come up with that?
Hmm. Yeah. So like I said, it's so we have our conversion metrics, which is total leads, raw leads. Of those raw leads, about 60-70% of those are people that pick up the phone, net leads, and of those we have about 30% that book an appointment, offer call, and of those 85% get an offer, and of offers 1 in 6 or 7 is a contract, and contract to close rate right now is about 70%. So you just reverse engineer what you're trying to do. So if you're trying to do 12, 10 closed contracts, then obviously then you need 13 or 14 contracts per month. If you need 13 or 14 contracts per month, then you need what is that? If we're doing like seven, let's say 7 offers to a contract, or you 14 contracts, then you need to make 98 offers. If you need to make 98 offers, then you need to set up 110 appointments. If you need to send out 110 appointments, then you need to contact however many people you need to contact, and then at the very end, you're going to get the number of leads that you need, and then you multiply that by your average cost per lead, and you get your budget.
That's good. That's good math. I don't know where you prepare for this podcast or something for that, or you always have it because I guess you check your metrics consistently, right?
Yeah.
Um, how often do you do that?
Um, so about a couple times per week. So I have somebody who does the reporting and everything, and like I'll go back and I'll talk to my acquisition manager. We'll look at his metrics, and then we'll look at the metrics the KPIs at a whole. So a couple
Okay.
times.
And do you follow like a specific dashboard or sheet or whatever, or do you have a specific tool to use for that?
So I use Simply, and they have KPI tracking, but I also have an external like Google sheet that we track a little bit more in depth. Um, but yeah,
That's cool. So yeah, yeah. So obviously you came from applied science, right? I think that's what you mentioned.
yeah, it was it's like data science, financial mathematics, statistics, all in one.
So you're naturally, or not naturally, you're going to be more inclined towards wanting to understand those type of things and wanting to put a little bit more in mind towards it. But let's say it's someone that just struggles with numbers. What do you recommend? Like, do you have like specific tip or some sort of template that they can follow or something? What do they? How do you recommend doing that for them?
Yeah, so like I mentioned before, it's really just making sure you have definitions in place. But before you can track something, you need to know what like that means to track. Like, what does one of that mean? So obviously you have leads, and that's easy to track, right? You just count however many leads you get. Of those, you track a net lead, right? So you define it however you want to define it. Like I
Mhm.
said, for us, it's whoever picks up the phone is the correct person, has a property that they want, that they're somewhat interested to sell, even if it's at full retail or whatever. So and then you figure out a way to track that. And for us, it's creating a tag within our CRM, which we can filter and like on a daily or weekly basis or whatever cadence you want. Pull that data and see how many of those you get. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's just like having clearly defined definitions of what you want to track, um, and then creating a process for exactly how to get that data together. And
Okay.
then the rest is just you can do it all in Google Sheets. Create a table. 5 columns. You have leads, net leads. You can do it on a per week basis. You have total leads for the week, total net leads for the week, um, total appointments, offers, contracts closed, and then it's just like simple formulas where you track the conversion between that. You set a baseline, and then every week you see, are you under or over that baseline, and then you know exactly what you need to work on for the coming week.
Nice. So that's kind of like measure marketing and sales metrics there, right? We talked about marketing. Right now you're doing meta advertising. um are you going to be increasing the ad spend that you currently have, or are you going to be bolting on another channel? What are your thoughts in there?
Right now, I have the my metrics down on what my conversions look like for Meta. So right now I'm going to be increasing. I just hired an acquisition manager not too long ago, so I stuck to my budget for a month or two just to get him fully dialed in, and I remove myself from acquisitions for the most part. I'll make a few calls here and there if I need to, but I really like want him to be really dialed in and get as many reps as he can.
Yeah.
So once he's hitting that baseline of metrics that I'm using to project what 10 contracts look like,
Yeah.
then once he's able to hit those metrics, offers per contract, then we'll increase to where we need to be.
Oh man, I mean, this is honestly really good information for anyone that wants to kind of systemize and put their actual business in order a little bit more, because a lot of people miss out on just like keeping track of their metrics and not knowing where to go, because what they don't measure anything, so they don't improve things in a way that makes sense. They try to improve the wrong thing, right? um all right, let's go back to how you currently have your team set up. um your sales, you say you have one acquisition, and this person is basically handling all the closing calls, right? Um, do you have that person also doing the first discovery call, or do you have a lead manager doing that?
No, it's just it's all the acquisition manager, discovery call, offer call.
All right. So this the current acquisition manager, which I'm assuming you have these people on a base. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. So they have two-step call process, right? One where it's like I bet discovering 30 minutes, and then the second call, would it be right away, or would it be like a day after, or so on?
No, it's as soon as possible.
As soon as
Right, yeah. Right now, since he's brand new, no real estate knowledge, nothing. So, obviously, like learning the underwriting and underwriting quickly is going to be, a bit of a hurdle there. So, we'll set the appointment 20 minutes, 10 minutes after the discovery call, or if I can underwrite it for him while he's on the call, we'll put him on hold and then get back on the call. So it could be instantly, but it's usually never more than like 20 minutes after the discovery call.
So you're underwriting right now.
Uh, we're like 50-50. He's doing the preliminary. He'll underwrite and then like I'll check it for him. So like we phased into it. So at first it was 100% me. He was just watching, and right now we're like 50-50. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks he'll be 100% just him.
Okay, that's good. How'd you get your sales guy, your acquisitions?
It was actually somebody I knew.
Mm. So you just decided to hire someone that does he come in with sales background?
A little bit, not much to be honest. I just knew that he had real work ethic. He had the qualities of what make a good salesperson. So on that basis, I hired him.
A lot of people take time to actually hire their acquisition managers. They take time, right? Like they try to stay within sales. Why did you make that decision to kind of like remove yourself from sales?
Yeah. Um, well, I mean, for me, like for the same reason that I went virtual in the beginning, um, I really wanted this business to be a business that's self-sustaining, that doesn't rely on me. Um, so like I would rather take that risk, have the acquisition manager take all those calls, um, and see what goes wrong and adapt from there, rather than have the business rely on me. We grow. I hire a dispo manager, a TC, and then once I need to hire another acquisition manager, I don't have proof of concept where like I can replace myself in that position. So then I think I just like threw myself into the fire, I guess, and kind of just like grow from there. I guess that's been my philosophy from the start, is like being able to truly build a business that is self-sustaining, that doesn't require me. Um, and yeah, I guess that was the reasoning.
All right, sounds good. Um, Now let's talk about your current operation. So, as multiple six-figure business right now, how does the operations internally works? So it seems like you're in the right, but what about TC and the other stuff like that need to happen?
Yeah, I'm in those roles right now.
Hmm.
So I am the acquisition director. So I do the training, and all that stuff. Then I'll do the TC and dispo stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, and then the underwriting. You know,
When do you feel it's gonna be the right time to start replacing yourself from parts of those roles?
I think I probably could have replaced TC a little bit ago. To be honest with you, that's something I should get on. Um, but I think having because it's his first few months. So like I want to make sure that we're being consistent with the contracts that we lock up. For at least a few months before bringing in a dispo person. So we'll see where it goes these next few months, and then we'll revisit that. TC I don't think is as specialized of a role. Super important, but I think I can probably hire someone for that like now.
Yeah. Do you have a plan to use an agency for that, or actually hire someone, or just like some freelancer?
Honestly, I would probably hire a agency probably. I mean, I have like internal SOPs of like what to do if I were just to hire internally. So I mean, I haven't really considered it too much. I honestly don't know like what options there are for like third party TC services or anything like that. But
And in terms of dispositions, um, so you're currently doing that. You have the, or you're the ones with the relationship with the buyers. You know what buyers to call, or you do the marketing for buyers and so on. Well, how does that work?
yeah, so I will call like I'll call VIP buyers. But I mean, like either way, like I'm always doing like an email blast or an SMS blast to buyers. I'll pull a list of buyers that bought in the area, and then I'll email like my existing database. Um, and yeah, that's like we'll pull new buyers, we'll skip trace them, we'll do all that stuff, and that's how that process works.
Nice. And so, what do you want to achieve in the next few years, man? Like, what's the real vision? What's the big vision here?
Yeah, so the way I got into real estate was I wanted to be the passive income, the rental portfolio. That's still the goal. That's still the goal. But now I well at that point like I realized I needed to have something that made me monthly cash flow and like business wise active income in order to support the building portfolio at scale. So right now I want to continue to build this wholesale operation to a point where I'm not as hands on, and then from there once we have operations running smoothly, they're predictable. I can start to really build that portfolio, and focus on the actual like investing side of real estate.
All right. So, getting back into what you initially wanted, because I believe you started with triplex that kind of fell through. Is that right? How is that story?
Yeah, so like I said, I was a bartender
Yeah.
back in the day, and I just dropped out of college. I needed to figure something out. I thought the best thing to do is probably buy a rental property. So that's what I began to do. I got an offer accepted in March of 2020. Funny enough, it was the same day the agent texted me saying the offer was accepted, and I got the contract on the triplex. That same day was the day that the governor of Connecticut issued the shutdown of bars, restaurants. So I lost my job that day, and the lender did a last minute income verification, and obviously I didn't have a job at that point, so the financing fell through, and that kind of went to nothing. So that was a big setback, and that's really what like I really looked at it, and I evaluated, and that's probably honestly the best thing that could have happened to me at the time, because rentals, they don't scale the way um, I would still need a job to support myself. It's not as scalable. So then I realized like I needed some form of active income while building a portfolio, but I wanted I wanted it to also be like in the real estate space so that I can learn real estate while, you know, getting that active income so that, you know, when I'm ready to invest in rental properties, I'll have that knowledge. And that's kind of how I bridged the gap and landed on wholesaling.
That's good, man. Do you see yourself doing wholesaling for a long time?
Yeah. I made a commitment to the industry. So
What is that commitment? You're gonna be there for a long time now?
yeah, this is, I don't have anything. I'm that one thing. This is like all, you know, I'm focusing. I've had a bunch of opportunities come across, and I've said no to all of them just because this is this is the vehicle that I chose, and I'm gonna stick with it.
What do you think it's, let's say you grow, where do you want to grow your wholesaling business to? Like what level?
Yeah. So the first milestone that I'm looking to hit is 100,000 per month,
Mhm.
and then from there, I think I will have perspective into what I want to do next. So I think once we hit that milestone, we can, you know, reevaluate where, you know, where my time goes and everything like that, and kind of make a decision from there. So that's like the first. That's like my north star at the moment.
Okay. All right. And I mean, you're still pretty young, so something might grow out of it either. But yeah, $100,000 a month. I don't think you're so far out from that. You kind of know the steps. I think you do know the steps. You know what you need to do. It's just like how fast and how assertive you do it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Well, looking forward to helping you in anything. Remember that you can always hire remote Latinos too if you need any help in that. And since you're a client already from Health Media, that you essentially get a credit automatically from that. Or you can use our platform. Like I don't know if you know, but we have like an actual now a platform where you can find it yourself. You can find people yourself on the marketplace go.remotelatinos.com. And a lot of these people that we're putting inside of this platform are just professionals, right? Like they are professional people, like they went to school, they have jobs, they literally are doing well in whatever they're doing, they speak English most importantly. So if you
Nice.
ever
Yeah.
need that, man, and support the Latino community, we have that platform with a lot of our candidates that we already went through. So we have talked about your business. We have talked about like where you want to go and stuff like that. What would be one of the biggest piece of advice that you give to an entrepreneur that is, you know, needing to grow further? And I know you've taken a lot of coaching and stuff, but what's one of the best piece of advice that you can give to someone?
I would say always look to learn. Always look to grow. You know, personally and obviously in business, but you know that comes with the desire to grow and to seek knowledge. Um, you know, on how to make things better, and acting on it. Um, you know, you learn something new, or you pay for a coach or whatever. Um, you know, that's step one is recognizing that you don't know everything, and putting your pride aside, learning from someone else, and then you know having the discipline to actually implement it
Hmm.
is a big thing.
Yeah, awesome. What sources do you recommend for learning?
I It kind of depends on where you're at in your journey. Um, I think like if you just want to get started, I think you can just learn everything on YouTube. To be honest, you can probably shortcut that by hiring some type of like beginner coach. Um, you know, if I talked about it before, the way I learned how to do novations was through Level Up. So that was a solid you know mastermind that I did. And yeah, I mean, I guess kind of depends on your scenarios. I think those are good if you're trying to do inbound, you know, hustle media. They got sales training every week. objection handling. So, if you want to get your sales game up, it's a good platform too.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you for being here in this podcast, brother. How can people actually find you?
Um, Man, I'm not active on anything, man. I guess on Instagram you could probably find me. I don't post much real estate related stuff, but
Mhm.
Instagram. Let me look up my user tag because I don't even know it. It's gonna be YASE_C. Okay, hit me up there. Happy to help people, you know, grow or have if they have any questions. Always happy to help any way I can.
All right. Thank you so much, brother, for being in this podcast. And I'll see you next time. Everyone, if you got some value from this podcast, remember to just give us a review. It just takes about 60 seconds and share it with your friends or anyone that actually you think that is going to get a lot of value from. They're going to learn something. And remember, if you're in Spotify, remember if you are in iTunes or Audible, or even YouTube, just hit the thumbs up. Um, Give us that 5 star, give us that review. It will help us a lot to grow this podcast. All right. Thanks so much, everyone that's listening, and see you next time.